Podcast time, baby. Featuring the caffeinated Kyle Elliott, Part 2. Why, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Mike Tech Studios podcast. This is Michael Midnight here, just kicking the feet up and relaxing, hanging out on this canoe, just on a beautiful, sunny day. Look at those happy clouds up there. Just happy. We're getting back into our topic here with Kyle from last week. He was getting into the nuts and bolts of what it really is to be thinking like a hiring manager and the perfect candidate with effective networking and cover letters. So as we continue on here, just like this happy little river, that's strange. Wait a minute. Wait. That's a waterfall. What steps do you actively take to maintain like a healthier work life and home life balance?
That's something I always struggle with, and I pay my therapist a lot of money to help me with that. Especially probably over the last few months, that's something I've been working on to balance more. My business, I just started doing it full-time about 8 months ago. Before that, I'd been doing it part-time for 3.5 years, but I quit my full-time job that included an apartment, furnished, paid for in San Francisco to run caffeinatedkyle.com full-time. So I was very nervous. So I was just working all the time, trying to get new clients, get more business, marketing, helping people. And it got to a point where I was just working all the time. And I was like, okay, I need to take a step back and set some better boundaries. So I've worked with my therapist to do that. For me, I need really strict boundaries. I don't operate well in the gray area. So some things that's consisted of is stop working at 9 p.m. I'm not a morning person, so I usually don't start till like 10 or 11 a.m. So I stopped working at 9 p.m., not allowing my laptop in the bedroom. I had a habit of sitting in my bed, working on projects till like 2 a.m. I don't do that anymore. And then my phone, I don't allow my phone in my bedroom at all. So that's probably been most dramatic because it's easy for me to hop on my phone, answer an email real quick, and then just get lost in hundreds and hundreds of emails. And that's just helped tremendously. And then something, I feel like everyone says this and it's everywhere, learning to say no. And at first I was like, okay, sure, I'll learn to say no. Before I didn't really need to say no a lot. My time was not so compressed with so many tasks and projects with clients. But now I'm getting nonstop inundated with people saying, okay, I want you to coach me, or hey, let's partner together, or hey, I have this service I can offer you, or hey, will you look at my resume for 5 minutes? Hey, will you hop on the phone? And learning to say no has been super helpful. And it's something I've just recently realized. And I wish I would have taken that advice from people. All the podcasts I listened to, all the articles I read, everyone that said, learn to say no, eventually took like working 12, 15 hours a day to finally learn that saying no is what I need to do to sustain myself and be able to provide the best work product possible.
Again, you're talking to a graphic designer where everybody wants the thing that they're working on the next day. Telling you 6 p.m. the next day is a Saturday and they're not working. They're out on a golf course somewhere. So I hear you 100%. And I've burned the candle at both ends many times myself. I was working full-time overnights, working in a call center at one time, and then I was doing full-time graphic design and video editing during the day. And I ended up in a hospital. You can't do that. You know, having 2 or 3 hours of sleep a day, that whole sleep when you're dead thing, I mean, it sounds good as a marketing tagline, but keep on that work method and you're going to end up in that situation very quickly.
Yeah, I think sleep too is something I've really come to value. I've always been someone who sleeps a lot and values their sleep, but it's something I've been even more focused on, making sure that in my bedroom I'm only sleeping, nothing else, making sure I'm getting enough sleep. Something I've been trying to do is wake up without an alarm. My therapist says that's the best thing you can do for yourself. You don't want to start your day off being jolted up. And so I've been working to get to bed earlier so I can wake up without having 7 or 10 alarms that I need to wake me up. So I've been working to try and get to bed earlier and make sure I'm really practicing that sleep hygiene.
Yeah, and that's effective. I mean, personally, myself, I've developed panic attacks. I had to say, because you wake up in that panic of, oh, what's going on? What is that? Where am I? I'm late. And it's just you that I'm going to have a heart attack feel. And it just, if you don't say no, it's your personal health. And you wear that stress. People don't understand how much. I mean, I've caught myself looking at my phone as I'm sitting down to try to eat dinner. My dinner gets ice cold. And I'll just have that one email or that phone call. And meanwhile, my food is 2 hours cold because I didn't say no. So I like that. I think we're going to highlight that a little bit more, saying no in the future for both of us.
Yeah.
So obviously you see a variety and quite the diversity of work talent cross paths. What are the type of conversations that you would have with the potential company or key indicators that you do feel out from their work culture atmosphere to see that if this is in fact a good fit for the potential talents that would be signing on with them?
For me, I always have the candidate reach out directly. So as a career coach, I'm always advocating for the candidate. But some of the questions I make sure that my candidates ask are about work-life blend, like we just talked about, self-care. What does the work environment look like? There's this great writer on LinkedIn called Laura Riley, and she has these amazing questions she always encourages people to ask. And one of them is like, how do you spend your lunch break? How do people there spend their lunch break? Shows you what the organizational culture is like. Are people just working tooth and nail all the time? Or is there some of that work-life blend? So I always encourage people when they're looking for jobs to ask those difficult questions. And it can be challenging to do that when you're looking for a job. You're like, okay, I just need any job. I'm going to take anything. But it's important for candidates to be interviewing companies just as much as the company is interviewing them. I mean, you're signing up for a job. You want to make sure you like it. Preferably you love it, but at least like it.
Absolutely. And I was talking to TJ about this in the last podcast as well. It's very much like a relationship. Like any relationship, it's about communication. We want to love what we do. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. We want to get paid well for what we do, but that's the whole point of doing that research is to see, hey, yes, I do want a job, but if you're going to the same type of jobs, why? When you are working with the candidates, what is the biggest turnaround that you've experienced from a candidate after working with them?
I've had this with a number of clients, but I can think of one specifically was confidence. A lot of people come to me and they lack confidence and they're like, oh, here's what I've done in the jobs I'm looking for. And I'm like, okay, you say on here you have this accomplishment of managing projects. Tell me more. And they're like, oh, I managed a few $1 million a year in projects. So I was like, oh my God, that's impressive. On here you just say you manage projects. Let's add some numbers. Let's highlight those accomplishments. People don't often feel like they can brag about everything they've done. And that's what I do a lot with people, is just confidence building and building up their morale and saying, no, you are amazing. You're fabulous. You're great. Here's all these things you've done. We have to make sure you believe in yourself before you go and try and sell yourself to a recruiter. They're not going to be sold on you until you're sold on yourself.
Man, I don't think you need a therapist at all. You should be therapists for other people, man.
Sometimes it feels like that. And I think sometimes people just need that. Someone to listen to them, someone to motivate them, and someone to tell them they're great. It can be hard for people to find it in themselves, but I believe everyone is great. And I believe everyone has that motivation. My job is just kind of help them find it within themselves.
Right. It's like finding your voice.
Exactly. Beautifully said.
Thank you. Now, for the workshops that you've done, and I've seen a lot of great praising reviews, are they just available in person or are they also accessible online?
So for the last few years, I've just been doing in-person workshops, but recently I've introduced some courses online. So I'm trying to kind of expand into this digital space. So I'm trying to do podcasts and all of that. I feel like sometimes I'm a bad millennial because I'm not always up to date on every single avenue that's out there.
Now, individuals can find that information, though, on caffeinatedkyle.com, right?
Yes, caffeinatedkyle.com is the best place.
Finally, as I always like to, I know there's so many stories that everybody has. If you could share with us one horror story and awesome story, something that is uplifting.
So I personally used to live in Seattle. I went there for grad school. And while I was there, I had this great job at Navos. And I did fundraising and marketing for them. And I loved the job. It was the best job ever. But my family's in California. So I left them to come to California, back to California to be with my family and also to pursue this amazing opportunity, or what I thought was an amazing opportunity. It was way more money. It was this great organization. Everyone there was amazing. They had already raised lots of money. I was going to come in and help them raise more money. And then I got there in my first week, I figured out every single item in my interview was a lie. My boss was only half time. Online, they published, we serve this number of clients every year. It was a lie. The CEO was literally like a dictator. Every single minute he wanted to know what you were doing. He needed to see your calendar. It was this horrible experience. Week one of being there, I knew I had made the wrong decision to come there. But by being back in the Bay Area, I was able to kind of network and stuff. And within a few weeks of being there, I was reached out by San Francisco State University saying, hey, we have this opening. We see you're back in San Francisco. Do you want to come back here? So it turned into this great opportunity I would not have been reached out to had I not been in the Bay Area. I was there 8 weeks total. So those 8 weeks being there were horrible. I really hated it. I was not happy. But it turned into this great opportunity. Had I not taken it, I would not have been considered for San Francisco State, which was, again, one of the best jobs I've ever had. So I think sometimes when you're in the midst of things, it can look really horrible and suck. But afterwards, I feel like things often happen for a reason. And the reason I took that opportunity was to then be presented this other opportunity.
I like that. No, it definitely fits. I think it's important to share to people just what you're going through right now isn't necessarily the end. It can have a demoralizing effect, but just know that that is not it, and I appreciate you sharing that. I think that about wraps it up. You can find Kyle on LinkedIn and through his website at caffeinatedkyle.com. As a bonus, anyone who is listening to the podcast and is interested or in need of a great resume review, cover letter, coaching, or many of the other services that Kyle is available for, can actually send Kyle a screenshot of the podcast and mention the phrase "bring on the coffee" and schedule a consultation, and you'll receive 25% on your first coaching session with Kyle just by mentioning this podcast episode and phrase. Kyle, appreciate your time and thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have your own recruiter or candidate story that you want to share with us? If you're listening on YouTube, comment below. If you're listening on your podcast app of choice, feel free to email us at go@miketech.tv. You can also find our full conversation unedited on YouTube at youtube.com/MikeTech Studios. That's MIKTEK Studios. This podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play, or your podcast app of choice. Thanks for checking out this episode. This is Michael Midnight signing off. Thanks again, guys. Bye now.